by Thich Nhat Hanh. This is basically a book on establishing, mindful practices at the workplace. Right, it's a beautiful book. It is a small kind of a small book, but lot of ideas and a lot of thoughts. So as I was reading in this book, there was this idea about having a peace treaty. Right, there was this idea about how to restore good communication at work. That means, when we work, so there are times where, due to small issues there is misunderstanding between colleagues. So in that case, how, good communication can be restored. So here, basically Thai is trying to say in this, I've just read some of the portion of the book where he says that, we have to make commitment. Important thing is to make a commitment to ourselves and to our community, and this basically all of our colleagues, at work, companies actually, and maybe some of the, maybe someone from human resources, if someone is listening, we all need to kind of train ourselves, all the colleagues. Only then this will happen, otherwise this will not happen. So that all colleagues should be trained at the workplace, that, that train means not that training in terms of, kind of enforcing certain behaviors. No, this is basically to bring more awareness, because see, if there is conflict between people at workplace, it doesn't benefit anyone, right? Ultimately, the thing is that every day you have to show up and work with the same person, right? So, how it is very very important to learn how to be skillful, right? Which, like, I look at my professional journey, I did not have that awareness, I did not have that skill, right? And that skill came very late in my life. So what we can do is that companies can have like, some like mindfulness programs for their employees, so that they can teach their employees, those things, small things. Like the first thing what Thai says is that, first of all, let us make commitment to ourselves and to our community at work, that from now on, every time anger manifests in us, we won't do anything or say anything until we have calmed down, right? Because see, what happens is that if whatever we say out of anger is basically a reaction, right? It's like an egoic reaction, and an egoic reaction will make things worse. What will happen is that, if I communicate something in anger, the words will hit the other person, and the word and his ego will also get turned on, and then there is a constant war of words between people, and it will make miserable life miserable, not only for the two people, but all the other people, because that toxicity that happens in those interactions, for the other members of the team, though they are not involved, though they have nothing to do with this, still they get embroiled. And then there are, side taking and everything, that you are on my side, he's on a, and it becomes very toxic over time, right? So first commitment, if anger is manifesting, we will not say anything, we will not say anything till we calm down, right? So we are not saying some, so nowhere we are saying that, we will suppress our anger. No, mindfulness is not suppressing anger. It's basically, first, when we do mindful breathing, it's basically to raise the energy of mindfulness, which in turn takes care of that anger, right? So if you suppress it, maybe the short term result will be that, things are looking good and everything is fine, but underlying, what happens is that the toxicity, and you see it in families. What happens in families is that, a mother and father, some families, the mother and father fight, literally they fight openly, and the child is subjected to that, whatever the, fight, and the child cannot do much about it, right? And that's the sorry state for the child, because what, as Eckhart says, that both the father and mother's pain bodies, they, they feed on each other through this drama of fighting. Similar way it happens. But sometimes what happens is, in the garb of looking cool and in the garb of looking well, people don't fight with each other, but there is this, the toxicity of, the kind of, between the people, that keeps impacting the other people around that area, right? So here what we have to do is, we have to practice mindfulness. We don't have to suppress anything. uh, According to this practice, Thai says that we need to do look deeply into ourselves in order to recognize. First, Thai says, when anger comes, in workplace, what you need to first do is that, don't speak, right? Don't speak. allow the anger to calm down. How? Through mindful breathing, through mindful walking. I've covered that in the earlier kind of sessions. I'll also cover it in the future sessions. So don't do it. Let the anger first calm down, right? And you'll be able to recognize the roots of the anger, that where from the anger was coming. Why is it that this person triggered you? Is there something that this person, is there something within you that this person is triggering? The if you become calm through this, we will know the roots of our own anger. Why this person? Because somewhere if someone triggers you, see, understand this, it's actually your loss. Something is there in you which is, which is allowing that person to trigger you, which you should not. So important thing to look at is, look inside, not outside, right? Go inside and see, maybe journal, whichever way you want to do. For someone it's mindful breathing works better, for someone journaling works better. But at least give some time out. Maybe you can just walk out of that place and do a walk. You can go and do a short walk and then come. By that time, if you walk for 5-10 minutes and you breathe some fresh air and you come, the anger is reduced, subsided. You can get a fresh perspective, because you don't know the other person who got angry. You can just think about that person, how, what perspective you got, whether your communication was not proper, whether this that other person was going through something in his life right now. That what is important is that the mindfulness and mindful kind of these practices give that space for you to get that perspective, that the other person may also be going through some problem, why he is behaving like this, right? Okay. Then, because then what will happen is that you will stop reacting. So okay, 5-10 minutes you spend, and then when you come back, you will not you will not be in a reactive mode. You will be actually communicating from a mode of kind of wisdom. And that will be your, which will be much refined kind of a communication, right? Okay. Then Thai says that if we are not able to transform it, right? If we are not able to transform, we are not able to calm down, and that thing is keeping on. Then what Thai says, a very revolutionary thing, that maybe very look very impracticable on the surface. And that is why I'm asking is that empl- companies should hold these sessions for their employees. All employees should be actually trained on this. Then only this change will occur. Is that what basically the person can do is to ask for help from the same person from whom the anger was there, right? So Thai says that this should be done only after you have tried. So first you have to try yourself, right? Don't just ask for help without trying yourself. So try yourself, calm down yourself. If you don't calm down yourself, then you can ask the person for help, who has caused the anger, who you think has caused the anger for you. And generally what Thai says, it's best to communicate our need for help within 24 hours. Because why not, why not after 24 hours? Because if you let that 24 hours pass down, the anger will solidify in you. The anger will be part of your store consciousness. Within that 24 hours period, just get it resolved. Talk to him, seek his help. That, boss, I'm suffering, something you said, it's there in my mind, and I'm suffering, please help me. Think about this. Think about this. If that person, other person, his whole perspective can get changed, that, oh, he's asking for my help. And then there, that communication can get restored. So uh, Thai says that if you cannot ask help directly, what you can do is that you can write down what you want. You can just write down whatever support you want from that person and give it to him, right? There is something called a new practice that they do in the Plum Village. I'll not cover it here. Maybe in some other live session I will cover, which we can do for our relationships, which we can do at workplace. That is even a more finer aspect of this, right? Okay, so there are three sentences what Thai says you can do if you have a kind of a colleague. You can say, first sentence, dear colleague or friend, I'm suffering, I'm angry, I want you to know it, right? First important, why you want to know the other person that you are angry is because somewhere you and the other person is also, both of you are connected. So it's the duty to tell the other person that you are suffering. Second sentence is, I am doing my best. This means that I am practicing mindful breathing. i'm I'm practicing right thought and I'm practicing right speech, right? Though when you are saying I'm doing my best, this will inspire you, this will actually inspire the other person, get inspire the other person to have respect for you, that you are trying your best. Third sentence is please help me. Here basically you want to elaborate and say that I cannot deal with my anger alone. I have practiced, but almost 24 hours have passed and this thing is there in me. Please help me. Right? So these are the three sentences where you can communicate and asking for. So this is not to be done in exactly the same way. Just have a casual conversation. Just go. And what I've found out is that these things are best resolved soon. What happens is if you don't resolve it maybe within 1 day or at max 2 days, what will happen is that the error in perception that you have against the other person, uh, that other person is bad and other person is this and that, this will keep on intensifying at your end also, at his end also, and the rifts will be becoming wide and wide. And I've personally observed these things then happen for months and months, and this harms you so much. It also harms the other person, right? So just if there is any issue, just kind of uh, do mindful breathing, see if it goes down, it doesn't, communicate to the other person, interact with him, seek his support, that I this is something that happened, I am facing. You're not blaming the other person. Understand this, you are not blaming the other person for, you are basically asking his help and support, that please help me resolve this. This is actually revolutionary if this can be maybe taught in companies and employees come together and work this way. So I think this is the best way for employees to do the conflict resolution themselves. This will be kind of a very, save the company a lot of cost in terms of lower productivity, passive aggressive behavior, and all those things that happen, right, between employees. Okay. And what Thai says is that asking for help is a wonderful thing. Usually, when we get hurt, we are inclined to say, "I don't need you," right? We are like totally, we show our kind of hard stuff, our kind of our very hard stuff. We don't bring our softer side. We don't bring our vulnerability, right? We just say, "I don't need your help. I can survive. I can see through this. I don't need anyone's help," right? And when you do that, you get even more angry, right? So that is where Thai says. Uh, Thai says if you want more happiness in your life, memorize these three sentences. You can write it on a piece of paper and slip it in your wallet as a bell of mindfulness. Every time anger comes up, the first thing you can do before reacting, before saying or doing anything, is to take out your wallet and read these three sentences. So that is something. Uh, then there is this section on practicing peace treaty, where Thai basically says that a peace treaty. This is basically a peace treaty can help us calm down and ease difficulties with people at work. The main thing to remember is not to say or do anything when we get angry, but come back to our breathing, right? We can speak to the other person about what he has made. The first thing is to look deeply into our own anger, and if we've heard, we can apologize right away, right? So there is this peace treaty, the thing, this is basically for relationships, but this can be used for sorry, basically for the family relationships, but this can also be used for kind of a work relationships, whereas there is a full kind of, this is the thing, right? There's a full kind of agreement like thing, that in order that we may work happily together and we may deepen our understanding of each other, we the workers of this department vow to observe and practice the following. I, the one who is angry, agree to: number one, refrain from saying anything, not suppressing my anger. This is actually beautiful, this, if everyone can be aligned to this in the organization, then nothing like this. So this is it. I just thought to bring this small concept. I just want to do kind of bite-sized sessions, so that maybe one concept at a time can be digested well, and hope this made sense in some way. But my only suggestion is, my only point of view is that if you have anger or something, just don't just seek help. Talk to that other person, maybe not in a professional office setting, maybe go for a cup of coffee or some place and just get it sorted, because ultimately you have to work with the same person day after day after day, right? Or other thing, if still things don't work out, then better decide, if that person is your boss or something, then over the long term you decide that, uh, what are the options that you have, right? So but take a decision and try to resolve things. A lot of things get resolved by communication, right? So thank you so much for watching this session. Hope it was useful. Even 1% it was useful. If you have any comments to share, do share, and I'll reply personally to all your comments. And do join me for a free masterclass every Friday. Today I had at 8 o'clock, 8 p.m. I had a masterclass, three secrets on how to break free from difficult mental emotional patterns and live a better life through mindful living. So the link is there in the description. Do register for that masterclass next Friday, 8 p.m. And take care. Bye. See you. Good night. Bye.